Hi guys, this is Temilo and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'll be talking about the non-farm payroll that happened yesterday, that is NFP. Okay, so the NFP figures and unemployment rate figures were released yesterday, Friday, and that's the NFP figures for August. Okay, they always release the previous months in the present month. Okay, so we had the NFP figures for August released yesterday, and this video I will show you how I traded this NFP. Okay, I had some profits and I had losses as well. Okay, so just before we get right into it, I want to say that if you are a beginner in trading, or you are not yet good with your analysis and stuff, I want to advise that you avoid trading high volatility news like the NFP, like the FOMC, like the core CPI, MOM, retail sales on all of these pairs. You want to avoid them. Okay, and when I say avoid them, I don't mean totally that stay away from them. Okay, you still need to be on your chart. You need to learn how this thing moves. But when I say stay away from news releases like this, I mean try not to trade yet. Okay, instead of trading on your live account or your funded account, you want to trade on your demo. Okay, because you need to gain the experience too, because news releases like this, high volatility news releases, are very dangerous, and so also they are good. Okay, if you get it correctly, you can make nice and decent profit. But on the other hand, a lot of people do end up with the bad side of news, that is losing their accounts and all of this. And I'm saying this from experience. When I started trading, I when I was a beginner, I saw how people used to make money from news releases, and I was like, wow, that's fast. I can become a multi-millionaire easily with news trading. And I got into traded buy stops, traded sell stops, all those I think they call it the trade do strategy or so. I did all of that, and I've had my own share of bad days with news releases. Okay, so you want to, as a beginner, trade the news releases on your demo accounts just for you to practice. And I will say that when you trade, please, even later on when you eventually trade on your live accounts or whatever account you have, you always want to make sure you are trading with a stop loss. Please never do an open trading where you don't have your stop loss in place. Okay, never do that. Even on normal days when there are no news releases, you don't want to trade without stop loss. Okay, and whenever you are trading the news as well, don't just say, oh, this is news day and there's usually high volatility. I want to go in with big lot size. I want to risk a big percentage of my account. Okay, please don't do this. You always want to risk the same thing you will risk as if you are taking your normal trades. Okay, if you will be trading news releases. Okay, and you always want to do your analysis before news releases to know what buyers you want to go for. Don't be predicting buyers that, oh, it's buyer I want to take, or you want to make sure you've done your technical analysis as well. And also for the fundamental analysis, this is what I always do. So now let's get into the analysis. So I always like to use investing.com. Okay, this is investing.com right here. This is what I use. Some people use the Forest Factory. I prefer to use investing.com. So yesterday, just before the NFP, what I always do is to come and check before the news release. This actual that you have right here won't be here. You will just have the previous figures and the forecast. So these previous figures are what the figures that was released last month, that we had last month. This forecast is what they are projecting that would likely be the figure for this month. Okay, for this release. Okay, so on getting here, I saw that the non-farm payrolls was forecast was for 300K, while the previous was 526. As you can see, the previous is higher than this present forecast. And looking at it like this, my prediction was that the non-farm payroll was going to be positive, because now we have less figure that they are expecting. And most times like this, based on previous figures, anytime you have a very low figure like this compared to the past one, it's always kind of turn out positive, okay, because the projection is so low, okay. And moving on to the unemployment rate, the unemployment rate for previous was 3.5, and the forecast is still 3.5. And for my prediction, I predicted the same 3.5, that it's likely we are going to have probably the same this thing. And I was actually looking that if we don't have same, probably it will be slightly higher and the unemployment rate will be negative. So now that leaves me with two different bias. I had a bias for a positive non-farm and a neutral, a 3.5, or a negative unemployment. So with all this in mind, this kind of affected what I want to do on my technical analysis, because now one will likely favor the US dollar while the other won't favor the US dollar. But at least I have my prediction in place. So now moving to the technical analysis, let's move to the GBP USD first. I will go over this first. So moving to GBP USD, during the London session, just before the New York and the news, when I woke up and came on the chart, price action was somewhere around yeah, price action was somewhere around this level right here. And just as I can see on the chart, I saw that the Asian range low has been taken out and we are yet to take the Asian range high, okay. So with this in mind, and price has been selling for quite some time, okay. So and we will likely have some corrective phase, right? Okay. So since we broke structure right here and market left behind some this supply zone right here, and also we have this supply zone that if you go to the 1 hour time frame, let me quickly do that. On the 1 hour right here, you can see that this is a clear supply also right here, okay. So looking at all of this, I was then thinking we could actually see some buys because the Asian range low has been taken, and so I was now looking for entry opportunities for buy. But for the buy, I was a little bit skeptical because where price is at the moment wasn't the best. Okay, market was at this zone, it wasn't the best price for me, because looking down, I can see that we have this unmitigated demand right here at this particular point. And as you can see, if we should mark out our structure when market was pushing, we had this lower low being created, and we had a break of structure right here from this lower high that caused this lower low. So we broke structure, market came back and mitigated this zone right here, and from there we started seeing a push to the upside, okay. So shifting to the side right here, we can see that when market came back to mitigate this sorry about my drawing. We can see that market came to mitigate this demand level right here, okay. So I started thinking, will price drop further into this level to fill up this imbalance that was left here before we push up? And but looking at this level and how price always react during the London session, once we have the Asian range low taken out, most time we might likely start pushing forward. So I decided to take the risk and see this as the mitigation that the market needed to do at this particular point. And I was like, if we were able to break above this high and find a retracement back, then I'll be looking to buy at this level right here. Okay, you can see we have this demand unmitigated, we have little imbalance right there. So I was looking forward to buy from right here, okay. And for my take profits, okay, since this has been mitigated with this candle right here, I decided to take that out, and I saw this as a form of trend line liquidity right here that market needs to grab and come into this H1 point of interest, okay. So that was why I had a bias for buy. And if we move down to the 1 minute time frame now, okay, let's remain on this 5 minutes time frame and play this chart right here. So as you can see, I moved to another time frame. Actually, okay. So now we add the break of structure right here. We broke above this high. We also took out the Asia region. So signifying to us that the market really wants to push further into these levels. Okay. So and I add this point of interest again. Okay, so this looks to me like probably a mitigation of this zone right here, and this is why I always say you want to try and go from time frame to time frame. You don't want to stay on only one time frame. So I add this point of interest, and when markets came back down, okay, so as you can see, we broke structure right here again. So when markets came back down into this point of interest, I actually took a buy from that zone. Why is this not working? Okay, let me go again. So I took a buy from this level right here. I executed a buy trade and I had my stop loss at this low, which was about 16 pips thereabout. And for my take profits, I had my take profits set at this H1. So I had my entry around this level right here, and I had my stop loss at this low just to cover up for the 5 minutes demand zone, these 5 minutes. Okay, so I was thinking probably price may not get this low. Okay, so I had my entry right there, I think around these points right here, and I got into the trade and the trade moved in profit. I was really excited because I was thinking this zone was not later mitigated. Okay, so I got into the trade, and at some point when we broke above this high right here, I moved my stop loss into entry points. Okay, and before I know it, price came back and I was stopped out at entry. Okay, you can see right there, I was stopped out of entry. I didn't expect this to happen at all. I was thinking price will just continue all the way up. Okay, so now looking at the charts again now, I was like, it looks like price will come down into this 5 minutes demand now, and but it was already getting to the time of the NFP news release. Okay, so and I didn't want to um start guessing where the market is going to go or not, especially now that I have two different buyers for US dollar, one positive and one negative. Okay, so and I don't know what the figure will be yet, but because this H1 is yet to be mitigated, my overall bias for the news release was that um I just my overall bias was that the US dollar was going to lose value, and this PSV is just going to move up following this technical analysis. Okay, so I decided to get into a buy trade again. I wanted to be in the buy before the news release. Okay, I just wanted to be in the buy, and if I will be stopped out, if my prediction was wrong, I had a calculated risk percentage. Okay, I was willing to risk what I wanted to risk, and just because of the volatility of the news this time around, I decided to have my overall stop loss to be at this last low as opposed to this low right here. Sometimes spread do increase during news releases, and because of this demand zone that is still left here, the price could probably push it. That was why I decided to have my stop loss at this low. Okay, so the news was released, and that M5 demand was tapped right there. So as you can see, we got the tap, and markets moved straight into this level. And for my take profit, let me quickly go back to the 1 hour time frame. Okay, This is the 30 minutes 1 hour time frame. Okay. So at this level, I was still expecting price to actually push more further. I don't even know why I had that. Let me move back to the 5 minutes. I was just expecting price to still push further. Okay, and I let me cut this right there. I was still expecting price to move further, but price started reacting somehow, and I just decided I think this news is not going to really have that volatility we expected, and I took out some partials at some level, at a random level. You know how news is, it was going up, going down, going up, going down. So I just decided to just take some profit out of the market. Some I still had some positions, okay? But later on, the market started moving again. And at this point, now we mitigated the M5 point of interest and I've made some little profit. I I was then still expecting price to push further, okay, into probably this zone right here, yes. So I saw this as a demand zone, a new demand zone that has been created because now we've broken above this high again. Okay, so I then decide, okay, let me just have my stop loss moved into this level, since I still have a position from around there. So I decided to move my stop loss to this level now, that okay, price was going to come back here and I'll continue in the buy trade. Okay, but I was wrong, and you can see I got stopped out of that trade. But good thing I had some partial secured from this first push. Okay, so now let me clear the chart. So now, since we then had this break of structure, I moved back to investing.com and like, okay, now this was negative. Okay, this had a negative impact. The unemployment rate had a negative impact. That was why we had this push to the upside, okay, favoring the other pairs that was paired with the US dollar. Okay, that was why we have this. So now, since the non-farm payrolls is positive, that means this has done what it wanted to do, and we are now reacting based now on the non-farm payrolls that is positive for US dollar. So moving back now to the chart, I went on the 1 hour time frame on GBP USD and I saw that okay, fine. This is a supply zone that the first trade moved into to mitigate. Okay, so we had this H1 supply being mitigated right there, and the market is now moving from that H1 supply. What's going on? Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. So, and I don't edit my videos. I suck at editing. Okay, so moving back now. So I saw that this H1 supply was being mitigated with the first push that we had with that news release. And as you can see right here, we had this break of structure right there. So this was just a corrective phase for this whole push up to this phase. So now that we have a break of structure right here, it means now that the market will likely push down. So now back to my first point of interest that I have marked out here, the demand zone and the imbalance that we have right here that is yet to be mitigated. So it now makes sense to me now that since we are reacting from a higher time frame supply, price is going to push down to fill up this imbalance. But I'm not sure if this zone will be broken. I'm not sure exactly, but now my target was for this demand level to be filled since we have a break of structure right here. So now, looking at this now, if we now move down to the 1 minute time frame, we did add this break of structure right here. We cleared this low and this low, and I found this mini supply zone on the minutes time frame with this huge imbalance. So this was now the shorting opportunity I now got into. So I decided to have my stop loss at this level. But if it was a trade you wanted to get in, probably you have your stop loss at this level. But I see no reason to have it at this level because we already had this zone would have been the best zone to get into this trade, but it looks mitigated already with this candle wick right here. So I was like, there was no really need to have a excess stop loss right there. Though I know I always advocate that you should always want to have your stop loss at the extreme high if your stop loss permits, okay? If it's not too big, but right here, this is about 20, which is fair enough. But for me, I just decided that I was just going to have it at this level, especially because this is a news day and a lot of things do happen. I do not want to be risking that much on my account, so I decided to get into the trade right here. And for my take profits, I decided to target this imbalance and demand level that we have to the left right there. And as you can see, if we should play, market came into that level. I was tapped in and the trade went into profits. You can see what's happening right there. So I got tapped into the trade and the trade moved well. Okay. So at this level, I was happy we were breaking structure, minor break of structure. We were having minor break, and this retracement makes sense that price was coming into this level, right? So everything was going fine. Then suddenly at this level, when we got to this level, I was expecting a break of this level, but we suddenly had this push to the backup. And when I saw this sudden push to the upside, I was like, better you start moving your stop loss into some profit. And I moved my stop loss into 1.15600 right there, a round figure. Instead of this I right there, just add it at that level right there. And at some point I was like, girl, just take some partials off this trade, because on news days, the way we always have different spikes and movements can be really crazy. So I closed out some position and left the remaining in stop loss right there at this level right there. And markets moved and I was out of the trade at this level. I was out of the trade, and before you know it, markets went all the way up. And I was like, see what I was saying, that at least I had some profits move out at this level. So on news days, these are the things you should do also. Try to take some partials, try to take some profit on news days. So I was able to take little, and market took the remaining position out at this level and ended up moving up. And I was like, wow, what is really happening? Why are we pushing up since we already had this break of structure? And I was like, I was done for the day. I just left all of this because I see no reason why markets even need to take out this high. So what market did was actually came out to stop everybody out that was selling. Okay. So and for me, when I get into trades, my take profit level, I always kind of set alert close to those levels. And later in the day, I was done trading and I just had my alarm go off, alert go alarm, I mean go off. And I was like, wow, I came on the chat and market has dropped like this. I was kind of sad that, can you imagine what this trade ended up doing? Blah blah blah. That if I was on the chart, probably I would have caught this, but trust me, I wouldn't have gotten into this sell even if I was on the chart. I was exhausted for day because remember I started trading since right here. I took this first trade here, took the second trade. So I was exhausted for the day and I was like, so that was why once I saw this area being taken out, I was like, it looks like market is really going to buy now and not sell again. So Even if I was on the chart, I would have seen this as some sort of maybe demand level for price to come back to and continue forward, but it doesn't. I was really not concerned, and uh, this was just pure manipulation. You can imagine people that even ended up having their stop loss at this side being stopped out for the market to then go. This was this was a confirmation entry right here to this level was about 70 pips. You can imagine what the market is trying to do to people, manipulate prices just to move in the same direction you predicted. So this was the trade I took on GU, a little profit from right here, a little profit during the news release, a loss right here, then a little profit right here. So that was it for GBP USD. So moving now to Euro USD. For Euro USD trade, during the London session, I didn't take any trade at all on Euro USD. Okay, I didn't take any trade. I actually did analyze this during the London session, but I couldn't get a market has already moved past where I could get a nice entry, and I just decided to trade the GU instead of EU. So when I came on the chart, this was what I did. I saw that I missed out on this. Okay, I got a little sale right here. I go out at the break of this Asian range low, and I was expecting price to pull back up so that I can get another entry and join, but market didn't tap my entry right there. I thought I would do a breakdown on that trade, but I didn't later do a video on it. So when I came to the charts early on Friday during the London session, this was the last significant low that we can see in the market. And for me, because of this, I was still seeing EU as being bullish. Okay, my overall bias was still bullish because we are yet to break below this significant lower low that we have in the market. Though this all push to the downside ended up taking out this our demand level that we have right here. We I actually expected us to buy from this demand zone, but good thing there was no confirmation as market blasted through this demand level on Thursday. Okay, and we took out this demand level right here, but even with this, I didn't see this as a total break of structure yet because we are still trading within, we are yet to break this low. So moving to the lower time frame, and on Friday during the London session, I was like, okay, we've gotten a confirmation to go bullish. This was a so all of this, I think all of this still happened on Thursday because this is the Asian session right here, and this is night time in my time zone right here. So during the London session, I waking up, I can see that price is pushing high. But for me, if I would like to buy this pair, and for us, we still have reasons to buy to this level. We can see we have this clear supply, which is more visible on the 3 hours time frame. If you check your 3 hours time frame, okay. So looking at it right here, market was still somewhere around this level during the London session when I got on the chart. So I was looking for a retracement before I could get into a buy. So I was hoping that probably I can get a retracement back into this level, okay, for the Asian range low to be taken out before I get into a buy trade. But to me, price already look far gone for price to then be coming back into this POI. Then this POI looks to me that is mitigated, but notwithstanding, we can still get a 50% mitigation because then now this looks to me like a set of equal lows that needs to be taken out in form of support right here that can be taken out, and this Asian range low. Okay, so I was like, okay, if I can catch a buy up into this one of these two zones, I can get a buy up. Probably I can catch a sell back down to take out this level, or price will present to me another good entry. So all through the London session, market just rallied up and market used this demand level right there to push all the way up. So during the NFP, I didn't trade EU till the NFP time. So during the NFP, I came on the charts. Let me clear this now. I came on the chart. Since I was now looking for a sell trade on the GU, I then decided to also look for a sell trade on this EU, and this looks to me like a clean point of interest to take a sell trade, because looking at the um looking at the 3 hours time frame now, this was a clear you can see this is a clear supply zone that caused this break of structure right here. Okay, so this looks like a good zone to short a retracement. Okay, so going back to the 15 minutes time frame now, if we then try to refine this 3 hours point of interest, we can refine it down to this level, and since this was mitigated as well, we can actually still refine down to this level. Okay, or probably just have it like this. But for me, I just decided to say, this was the POI. I think this is the POI, and I add it like this. So moving now to the 1 minute time frame. So on the 1 minute time frame, just like the GU, we had all of these push. We had this all push to the upside, right, during the news release, and later we started breaking structure and coming down. And as you can see, if we should mark out this push to the upside, we add this low, then we created this higher high. Okay, so if you look clearly, you can see now this becomes the highest high in the market for now on this from this POI. This is the last high right there that mitigated this point of interest that we have to this side right here. So one of the low that created this high, this right here was the low that gave us this high, and once we broke through this low, we had that first break of structure, or since we are on the 1 minute time frame, let me say a minor break of structure. This would have been the best low to break in order for us to actually see that structural break, structural low being taken out. Okay, so but we add this M1 point of interest, and for me, since GU was already showing sign sign opportunity sell opportunities, we add this supply zone. Just like the GU also, this would have been a best place to short, but you can see this week mitigated this zone already. Okay, so this was the point of interest to short. But at this level, I just decided to just keep watching EU. I didn't get into the trade at all of this price action. I was still looking at the chart, because then the chart was going crazy. The market was still moving anyway. So I was just still looking at EU, go back to GU, look at EU and thereabouts. So, but later on, I saw that this set of equal lows was taken out. Then we had proceeded to have this break of structure. Okay, so now I saw this supply with imbalance right there, and I was like, I think it's time to short EU as well. I've seen the confirmation I need to go short. So I got into a sell trade. I had my stop loss at this high, which was about 20 pips right there. I know it's quite big, but these days, like I said in some of my previous videos, I now use higher stop loss as opposed to those times when I don't always want to go beyond 15 or 16 pips. And for my take profits, remember the this Asian range low that is yet to be taken out, and this set of equal lows that is right here as liquidity. So my target was for all of these to be taken out and get out of the trade at this level. Then also you can see that when price was pushing up, let's move to the 15 minutes time frame for a clearer view. When price was pushing up right here, you can see that this whole move to the upside was like a trend line push, a trend line formed a trend line liquidity. Okay, so let's move back to the 1 minute time frame. So I had I had all the confirmations to go short on EU. Okay, everything was just there and clear. So I got in the trade, and this moved down perfectly. We had another rally up right here, and I was like, what's going on the charts? Just like I was checking the GU and EU trade, and suddenly price started reversing. I didn't move my stop loss to break even or anything, because this price action right here was so close to my entry point. There was no need to start moving stop loss to break even at all. And as you can see, market just went back. I would have had my stop loss at break even if market broke below this low that we have right here. But market didn't even get to this level, and market started turning back, just like market was turning back on GU, and I ended up getting stopped out of this trade. I was really annoyed, to be honest. I was annoyed. And at first I was like, maybe I would have moved my stop loss into this high. Maybe I wouldn't have been stopped out. But later on, I just saw that, in fact, even if I had it at that high, I was still stopped out. And not just at this high, even at this supply up here, price still got there again. You see? So I think the aim of the market makers yesterday was just to manipulate people, stop people out of their trade, even for the fact that your analysis were correct, your bias was correct, even for people that waited for the figures to be released, because there are some people that actually wait for figures to be released before they trade, okay? And you actually got the fact that the non-farm payrolls was positive, and you started looking for a sell trade. So I don't know why the market needed to stop people out. And so at the same time, this was the same time with the GU, when I decided to leave the chart and just end it for the week right there. And just when I also checked the chart to see what was going on when my alert went off for the GU take profit, I also checked this EU, and I saw that we also had a massive sale, and my prediction for sales was actually correct. The whole liquidity to be grabbed was grabbed. This equal lows with the Asian range low, price also got to this level, and I was like, I really missed out. I really did miss out. So I think people that actually had, let me go to, yeah. So I think people that had an aggressive entry for a sell right here would have been the people that made profits actually, than probably people that waited for confirmation entry. The confirmation entry made me have my stop loss at this last high, because we already had internal structure. We already had the internal break of structure. So I had my stop loss at this low. So people that took their sell trade as an aggressive trade that ended up with probably these 27 pips in stop loss would have been the one that ended up making profit at this level, because they were not stopped out of the trade. So if you took the whole 1 hour supply, or the whole 3 hour supply zone, or even the 50%, some people actually, instead of waiting for confirmation entry, you can actually um, take trades off 50% of a supply zone or a demand zone right there, which is about 20 pips, and just short the trade to the Asian range low and take your profit, which was about 77 pips. Okay, so that was the losses I had, and the profit I had was on the first buy trade in London session and the second buy trade during the news release. But on this EU, I ended up having a loss, even for the fact that I was looking for a sell. I ended up missing out. And moving to GJ now, I traded a sell on GJ and I made profit. Though GJ don't always move during NFP, it doesn't move like that. But let me just explain the sell I was able to take after NFP on GJ. So just like every other pair, I always check GJ, like my EU and GU, during the London session as well. So I realized we were trading from a demand and market was already pushing up. Then we already have this break of structure right here. I was actually on the charts on Thursday when market was mitigating this zone, but I did not particularly like what GJ has been doing for some time. There are too many weeks on GJ, which is not really suiting to the highs. What is going on with all of this price action? What is this, for crying out loud? So I wasn't just interested, even though I had a buy bias for GJ, as I was thinking we have all of these levels to be cleared out and we have some unmitigated supply zone to the upside. So my bias was for buy, but I wanted something, I wanted a price action that will be very clear. So on Monday now, price was somewhere around this level right here. Price was around this level and I was saying this is a nice buy opportunity if price will be able to come back into this level of demand right here. That is, we have some Asian range low to be cleared, and if we move to a higher time frame, like the 1 hour time frame, we can see that this level of demand right here, it's a good zone to start looking for buy trades on GG. So I just set my alert right there for when price will come back into this level. Okay, but during the just after the NFP news, markets pushed all the way up right there, and let me go back. So I just randomly came on this chart. I wasn't even looking to trade the sell trade. I was hoping to catch the buy right here, but when I came on the chart, I realized that price was reacting from this supply. Let's move back to the 1 minute time frame. Price was reacting from this supply and we were already selling. Okay, and I think it was towards the time I wanted to short GU also. And as you know, GJ and GU kind of correlate. If GU is buying, GJ is buying. If GU is selling, GJ is likely selling. Only at some different times that they do not move together. So when I came on this chart, I saw that we were having a reaction from this supply zone and we've broken structure, and price has mitigated those structures back right here. We had another break of structure. Market came back, mitigated this zone, and yet we didn't break above this high right here. So I was like, this is a good opportunity to short. Since I was looking to buy, I can also cash the sell, and this also was looking very clear trend line liquidity to actually for price to clear. So there was extra confirmations to go short, and market has started pushing. I think I just market executed a sell. Okay, it wasn't the best entry, but I market executed a sell and I had about 20 pips in stop loss. My entry point was somewhere around there. It was really a terrible entry, I must say. It was a terrible entry, but since we had those multiple confirmation, the first break of structure, the second break of structure, and we broke below this low before I cited this trade. So I got into the trade and I had about 20 pips in stop loss right there. And for my take profits, I had my alert set at this Asian range low that I will be looking to take some trade off, even though the H1 still had a point of interest down to this level. Okay, so I got into the trade right there and market just went down. Okay, market went down, and at this level my alert went off at the Asian range low, and I decided to take some partials out of the trade, and I was like, I'll leave the rest on it. But something just came to my mind and I was like, girl, this trade was even a bad trade for you to start with. You got in very late and market gave you almost 50 pips. I think, yeah, my entry was around 105, I think. Around 103, 105, I got into the trade. And I was like, market gave you already, okay, market pushed down almost 50 pips. Yeah, I got almost 50 pips. Now the market even went past where you wanted to take profit, and now you cannot even close all your positions. I was like, I closed some partials. Then later I was like, let me just be done with this trade, as I was even getting stressed from the GU and the EU. Then I had to go from one chart to the other. I kind of feel some kind of prayer on Friday. So I was like, let me just close this. So I closed all of my position at this level right here. I closed all my positions and I was done with this GJ. So today now coming to the chart, I saw that price even returned back. Price ended up hitting my final take profit actually but coming back up. And trust me, if I had my trade or some positions, I would have been stopped out either at break even or probably even in loss, because I think my stop loss was around this area. Okay, so but I think if I had a position running, I'll move it into break even, but I would have been stopped that and I won't get anything out of the remaining position. But market came back and tapped my take profits, and I also saw that markets moved back up and came back down again. Let me just close, leave the replay mode. And as you can see, this is where price is at the moment. Okay, so these were all the trades I took on Friday. It was really, really a hectic day. I kind of felt some kind of pressure to some extent. I think on the EU trade mounted pressure on me because I didn't expect price to go and hit my stop loss at all after giving us like a multiple break of structure. So that was what I was explaining to. There's someone on my Telegram channel that asked that how do you identify a fake break of structure? And I said no matter how good you are in analyzing the forex charts or the foreign exchange markets, there are some times that you will be trapped or be caught in fake break of structures. So those break of structures that we had on EU were fake break of structure because price ended up going back above the last higher high or the last lower high right there. So there are sometimes we will definitely have losses because the market makers will decide what to do on their chart. Okay, so this will be like the end of my analysis. And like I said from the beginning, if you're a beginner, even if you're a professional, news will always come with different patterns every month. Even when you've seen what price can do in a year, what news always do in a year by watching price during those news releases, news will still come with different patterns every month. It will come with different patterns, but being able to risk properly or get into your trade after the figures might have been released. Okay, so there are sometimes during some other news when we have a okay, let's take for example on GU now. Let's say we had core CPI news on USD, and probably the chart went all the way down during that news release. You can wait for some minutes or for an hour. You can actually catch a corrective phase of that news movement and catch a corrective phase. All you need to do is just make sure you follow your analysis like you will normally do on a normal trade. Okay, so that'll be all for this video. I hope with the way I explained from the beginning, you are able to now, you'll be able to approach days of news releases properly, risk properly, don't over leverage, always have your stop loss so that you don't end up with blown accounts. And for people that still use the buy stop, sell stop strategy, please stop using it. It's not working anymore. Last year, last 2 years, last 3 years, all those used to work. Last 5 years or 10 years, it used to work, but now it doesn't work anymore. You just end up with losses because price will just push up during the news and push back. Activate your buy stop position, activate your sell stop position, and you just end up with a blown account. So stop using the buy stop and sell stop schedule strategy. It doesn't work. Do your analysis. Have your lot size calculated before you get into your trade. That'll be all for now, guys. Till next time when I'll be dropping another educative video. Do have a lovely September in the foreign exchange market. Bye.